Every single day, we have clients coming to our office who, you know, came into the United States legally. For all intents and purposes, they understood that they were in this country with valid authorization.
A Michigan family says they are being torn apart by what they call a broken immigration system after a man who entered the country legally is now detained after a worksite raid and remains behind bars months later. Mid-Michigan Now's Andrea Flores is digging into the case and the legal questions surrounding it. She is here with the latest. Andrea.
Stella, what began as a normal workday quickly turned into months of uncertainty for Juan Miguel Davila Palacios, who entered the U.S. legally from Nicaragua in May of 2024 through the Nicaraguan Humanitarian Parole Program. Juan's fiancée, Angela Husky, tells me ICE detained him during a worksite raid as a collateral arrest.
He has changed a lot of lives. He's done a lot of things. He's a lot of things, but the worst of the worst is not one of them.
According to Juan's immigration attorney, Adriana Clemish, despite having work authorization, paying taxes, and building a life in Michigan, Juan is now being treated as an arriving alien.
The government is trying to treat them as if they are entering for the first time at a border, which allows them to be subjected to this expedited removal.
Angela says the impact is devastating.
I kept telling them, I'm just like, don't worry, they're gonna see you're a good person. You've not done nothing wrong. And then it's basically like they've thrown him in there and thrown away the key.
Angela tells me Juan helped care for her and her daughter after she suffered a medical emergency requiring emergency surgery. With him being the sole provider, now she says she's struggling to keep everything together on her own.
Definitely gonna have to downsize. We leased this house together in December. Now every extra dollar that I have goes into his account so he can eat every week.
Juan received a positive credible fear determination in October, which should have triggered an immediate parole review under a federal class action known as Davis versus Nielsen. ICE policy requires that review to begin right away, with an interview scheduled within 7 days. But Clemish says that didn't happen.
51 days after he received a positive credible fear interview, I received via email a denial. The only reasoning that we got was a single box that they checked that we did not show community ties.
That denial, she says, failed to address Juan's extensive community ties, including letters from his church, employer, and family. Clemish has since filed a habeas corpus petition in federal court, seeking Juan's release and saying cases like his are becoming increasingly common.
My hope is that anybody watching this would call their representative and ask the representative to call the Detroit field office and ask them why they are not providing individualized parole determinations to these people.
Juan does not have a final removal order, and his attorney tells me he has multiple forms of legal relief available, including asylum and a pathway through marriage to a U.S. citizen. His habeas petition is still pending in the Western District of Michigan, and advocates are urging people to contact their representatives and ask why ICE is not following its own parole policies. Stay with Mid-Michigan Now as we keep you updated on this developing story. In the studio, Andrea Flores, Mid-Michigan Now.